We're going to actually start with a pranayam for the root chakra, base of your tailbone, Muladhara. In Mula Bandha, you're engaging your perineum, pelvic floor muscles. Muladhara is your root chakra, so it's just you're focusing on your root. So in this one, we're going to do this deep breathing practice. In this, you're sitting in an easy seated position. You can be with a simple cross-legged position, or perhaps you could be in half lotus, something that allows you to feel balanced. I actually really like, as unsymmetrical as this pose looks, this is actually an extremely comfortable pose for me, because in this pose, and even more so than this seated pose, my easy seat Sukhasana, in half lotus for me, I actually feel more weight. I don't know if that's the right word, but I feel more grounded in my sit bones, which is where you're looking for. I feel more grounded in my sit bones sitting like this. This actually puts an interesting, nice weight and pressure straight down that regular Sukhasana. Yeah. So this is actually a much more comfortable position for me, and I'm trying to think of why, really, anatomically or muscularly or something like that. But I have less effort going on in my hip creases and my hip flexors. So this is extremely comfortable for me. So whatever works, and if you need to sit on a bolster, do that. You don't want your seated position to take away from the sort of meditative aspect of your pranayam, or you also want to be in a position where you're sitting upright. When you're working on your breathing exercises, you want to keep your torso as upright as possible. You don't want to feel like you're completely engaging everything. Some pranayam, maybe we are going to do that, but you want to feel that you're relaxed in your pose. So close your eyes and just allow your thoughts to just settle, and start to bring your focus and awareness down to your root chakra. So it helps to visualize a red glowing ball at the base of your tailbone, and you can use that as a visualization. And then bring your focus and your awareness to your breath. Just breathing softly and gently through your nose, just to begin with. For this pose, you're going to inhale 8 seconds through your nose. Hold for 4 seconds. And exhale for 8 seconds. Now this time on your inhale, fill your stomach with air, fill your belly, and then your chest, taking 8 seconds to fill up. And on your hold, engage Mula Bandha. Lift your perineum, lift your pelvic floor muscles for that 4 seconds. And on your exhale, relax. 8 seconds on your exhale. Inhale, fill your belly, fill your chest. Hold, engage Mula Bandha. And exhale, relax. Inhale for 8. Hold, engage Mula Bandha. Exhale, 8. Inhale, 8. Hold 4, Mula Bandha. Exhale, 8, relax. Inhale, 8. Four, engage Mula Bandha. Exhale, 8. One more round, inhale. Hold. Exhale, 8. Find your regular breath. So one of the aspects of that breathing exercise, well, two parts. So when you are doing diaphragmatic breathing, and that's essentially what we were doing, when your belly expands first and then your ribs, you're allowing for the space for your diaphragm to open up, and your diaphragm will press down as you continue to fill up. You're allowing space for everything. So the challenging part with that and engaging Mula Bandha is that your body, the inside, your cavity, is pressing down with your inhale, and you're trying to pull up with Mula Bandha on your hold. And so on your exhale, you're doing two opposing muscular things. Everything is emptying up here, and then you're relaxing and you're allowing your perineum, your pelvic floor muscles to release. So that is conflicting, because typically when you are working on Mula Bandha, it helps to actually engage Mula Bandha on your exhale and release on your inhale. Engage on the exhale, release on the inhale. So this is more challenging from a physical standpoint because your inhale is technically pressing down as you're trying to lift up.
Yeah, I'm glad you cleared it out, because I was like, this feels a little weird.
That's hard.
Okay,
yeah.
So that's exactly the reason why.
Yes.
Okay.
And regarding Mula Bandha also, and I've said this in class sometimes, but so Mula Bandha is such a specific muscle and spot on your body. I like to practice Mula Bandha, or I like to help people understand where Mula Bandha is when you're in down dog, because in down dog, it's very hard for you to engage your gluteal muscles. That's a good time to practice Mula Bandha because your pelvic floor muscles are available for engagement there. In down dog, really hard, and you're trying to avoid, so in Mula Bandha, you're trying to avoid engaging anything but perineum. So having your butt muscles otherwise occupied, perfect for practicing that. Yeah. And so Mula Bandha, the muscle itself is specifically, so even in this book that I'm reading, like it's suggesting to engage your sphincter muscles, but technically that's not it. You're technically trying to get the muscle that's right in front, which is very specific and different. And that is the muscle that you engage if you have to pee and you want to stop. Like you don't have a bathroom, it's not time to pee. It's that muscle right there. And I can't say what it feels like on a guy, I can only say what it feels like for a girl.
Kegel. Interesting, right?
It is a Kegel, but it's more specific because the Kegel exercises, you're engaging everything down there and relaxing. Everything down there and relaxing. Mula Bandha is technically not the same as Kegel exercises. Similar. It's a similar concept. You're practicing engagement. But here's the thing. So Kegel exercises also ask you to engage your sphincter muscles. And the problem with that in yoga, let me be very specific. The problem with that in yoga is that we try to practice Mula Bandha frequently. And this is actually one of these things that over time with science and research and really looking into things, having your sphincter muscle engaged too frequently can make you constipated. So, for example, when I started practicing Ashtanga, the cue was try to engage Mula Bandha the entire time. So that's an hour and a half worth of practice with complete engagement of your sphincter. And that clamps you up. So if you're more specific, you're engaging the muscle right in front, and you're not doing it the whole time. Because I think it's also more effective when you're in certain poses to then focus on engagement than to try to hold it the whole time. That's my teaching style anyway.
So the purpose of engagement, and maybe I missed this in the previous.
So actually, I didn't talk about it in this one. So in practicing Mula Bandha, when you're talking about abdominal muscles, core muscles, a lot of times we always talk about Uddiyana Bandha, and that gets your belly. That's nice. But the problem is that you've got this whole pelvis that's got a whole bunch of organs and muscles in it. And so just like with anything, you always want to talk about the foundation first. The foundation of your pelvis is your pelvic floor muscles. So when you're talking about core strength, you got to talk about the stuff that's going to hold it all up to begin with. So you're engaging your core, you're engaging Mula Bandha in order to help lift your pelvic floor muscles and strengthen them. And many people, including women, and almost especially women, it's surprising that as women, like, your entire life revolves around your pelvis for one reason or another. I mean, it's all related, it's all the reproductive stuff, but like, our lives are surrounded by the pelvis, and yet many women don't know anything about their pelvic floor muscles. And men, I don't know if men actually care about the pelvic floor muscles, but we can all get prolapse when we're older. So you engage the foundation, and then, so you engage Mula Bandha and then Uddiyana Bandha. So everything from like your hips, so from your tailbone to your belly button, it's all engaged. And by getting Mula Bandha first and then Uddiyana Bandha, you're actually more likely to get your transverse abdominals. And that's where your strength is really going to come in. You will find more success in strengthening your abdominal muscles if you start with Mula Bandha. Mula Bandha is, and Bandha, the word Bandha means lock. Like as in a lock in a river where the water is contained in order to help build up the water. So it's like that kind of a thing where you're engaging something in order to create more energy, to store it up, so that when you go to do something like hop forward to the top of the mat, you're engaging those muscles in order to put yourself forward. So your hop to the top of the mat, for example, is less about your legs pushing you forward. It's more about your core muscles, Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, lifting you and hopping you forward. You're lifting your hips up to the ceiling. And so it's truly a movement from your core and less from your feet. You could theoretically get yourself to the top of the mat without even pushing off your feet, by purely just using your core muscles to pull yourself forward. And so it's that you're creating that energy, you're holding it up, you're building it up in order to do something with it. Yeah, so that's what the bandhas are all about, is engagement and locking that energy in. And so it's important to so bringing that up is really important when it comes to the chakras even. So this whole conversation about mudras and pranayam, it all relates. And, bringing in the chakras, because yoga, chakras, all of this, breathing, the things that we're talking about, you always start with the base. You start with the foundation. When you're in a standing pose, you start with the foundation of your feet. When you're in a handstand, you start with the foundation of your hands. Talking about the chakras, you start with the root chakra. With the core, you start with Mula Bandha and work yourself up. In diaphragmatic breathing, you're starting with the belly and moving up. So then, in practicing, so we're going to do then a root chakra meditation that is going to use, very simple, so this is Gyan Mudra, and in this one, you're going to use your, you're going to have your fingers relaxed and comfortable, but specifically the tips of your fingers are together. You're not holding the finger, it's just the tips. So you're in your seated position. And again, focus down to your root chakra, to the base of your tailbone. And again, if it helps to visualize a red ball of light, or something that you visualize and maybe interpret to look like the root chakra. Visualize that. Sometimes the chakras are shown as spinning, sort of like pinwheels. And the root chakra has 4 petals in the symbolism of it. So this would have 4 spinning petals in this. So you've got your wrists or the backs of your hands are resting on your knees. And so this is allowing your palms to face up towards the sky. And just allowing your hands to be in a position of receiving. You're creating a circle of energy between your pointer fingers and your thumbs. And so you can visualize that. And this hand position, this mudra, is said to activate or stimulate your root chakra. And this, along with the mudra and the visualization, we will also have a chant. So with every chakra, there is a Sanskrit letter, I don't know what you want to call that, this a Sanskrit symbol, character, yeah, that's the word, that goes with it. And this one is lang. So we are going to inhale, and on your exhale, you simply just exhale the word lang and just let it draw out. And it's going to be very soft. And so it'll be like this. So we're going to, on every exhale, you're going to say long, 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 7 times. Take an inhale. Long, 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 long. So we'll do 7 rounds of 7 chants. So I will do the chanting so you can keep your hands as they are. Take a soft inhale. Long, 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 long. 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 So that sound, that chant, that symbol brings you back to your root chakra. Even the tone of it as you practice with your voice, and you can practice as many times as it feels good to you. So because there are 7 chakras, frequently we use the number 7 in how many times you chant, how many rounds of something that you might do. So you're also finding that tone in your voice that maybe feels, you can feel it deeper in your body, and perhaps you can feel it down into your root chakra. And when it comes to the chakras and the chanting and perhaps music that you might be listening to, as you work up the chakras, and the energetic aspect of the chakras is said to, the frequency is said to become higher as you move up the chakras. So we've got a lower frequency down at the root chakra, at the base. So the last one that I wanted to do is, this is an interesting one. So in all of this description of mudras, I'm trying to specifically avoid saying hand gestures. It is specifically gestures. Not all mudras are done with your hands. And this mudra is, it's called the Prana Mudra, and we're actually breathing, and your breath and your hands together are sort of making the mudra and the prana, the pranayam, all at the same time. So this is sort of bringing together all of the chakras. Again, sitting in a comfortable, easy seated position. You just place your hands over your belly. And you're visualizing at this point, you're visualizing the energy and the engagement and the activation of your chakras, starting from the root chakra and moving up to your sacral chakra until you feel sort of energy moving up to where your hands are, feeling the movement of your belly with your hands. And moving your hands up to your solar plexus. Moving up past your, the fire in your belly, the chakra there's a chakra that's just below your belly button, and then there's your chakra that's just above your belly button. So you're in that area, feeling the movement. So you can feel how the movement now in this part of your body is less going out and in, forward and backward. It's less belly pressing out and back. You can now feel your ribs expanding and contracting. So you're pretty much following the direction of your diaphragmatic breath. And then bringing your hands to your chest. So your heart chakra that also drives, so this is Anahata. This is also the chakra that drives your lungs. This is also somewhat to the beginning of communication. Maybe you can feel your pulse. You can certainly feel your breath. And then from here, bringing your arms up, looking up, and actually smiling up and feeling the movement of your breath and your arms and your energy reaching up. And then bringing yourself forward, palms together, forehead to the floor. In a position of surrender, and bringing it all back down
to the foundation, and that your chakras are still aligned from your tailbone, through your spine, out through the crown of your head.
And slowly bringing yourself back up again. And that's Prana Mudra. And then again, you're just feeling your breath moving up through your body, feeling your energy moving up through your chakras, maybe through your spine, through your energy body, but also through your physical body. And then feeling it reaching out all around you. And then you're bringing it back down in a form of prayer and thanks and respect, bringing it back to the earth where it all started. Do you have any questions? You asked a lot of good ones.
This last thing was called
Prana Mudra.
Prana Mudra.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So prana.
That's energy, right?
Prana, energy, life force. When we put the two words together, pranayam. So when we're talking about a breathing exercise, breath regulation, pranayam is breath regulation. So that sort of one kind of translation of the word prana can mean breath, because you can't live without your breath. So energy, life force, it's a similar concept to chi, only a little bit different, but it's that same similar concept. So this mudra gestures with your hand as well as gestures with your body. I mean, this is like a full body mudra that you're working up, you're visualizing it filling up. And we talk about this a lot, is, your intention in something, your outlook on something can change everything around you, the energy around you. So visualizing energy building up and increasing in your body, that simply, that simple process of visualization can help to create happiness and a sense of well-being and a sense of energy. Sort of a mellow energy. So next week, we're going to do some more some more mudras and pranayam. We may do another one regarding the chakras, but I do want to do a couple other different ones. I would like to do some mudras that have more complicated pretzel-y hand poses next week. As I indicated in the first video, some of these hand mudras are not easy. Like trying to get your fingers into specific poses and things like that. So next week, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to do mudras that we may not spend a whole lot of time on each one. I at least want to present some. And so as an example, this simple mudra can be used in, if you're feeling anger welling up, this mudra is used to help expel the anger away. So you're sort of directing it away from your body towards the ground, certainly away from perhaps the person or situation that's making you angry. But this simple mudra, and you are pressing your thumbs together. You're feeling that connection right there, but it's driving it down.
That's just pointing to the person angry.
Correct. Pew! Yes, right. Like the laser beams. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's an example. So we're going to do some that are a little bit more complicated with your fingers next week. And next week will be the last one in this series. And then I think, this is June, I think in July, we're going to talk about death. Yay! There you go. Yeah. So I'll see you next week.
Nothing more. Tell me more.
Tell you more about death?
Oh yeah, we're going to talk about death. It happens.
Death happens, yes, but I kind of want this to be like an open forum, like talking about people's experiences with, I would love to know if anybody's had a near-death experience, but it doesn't have to be as nondescript as that. So experiences with a loved one and so forth, the beauty, the honesty, the reality of death, different cultures, different aspects of the death process. I do want to talk about some aspects of the Tibetan Buddhist tradition in working with death, and anything else that really people want to talk about when it comes to death. There are specific end-of-life things that people do, that people can do to make it easier for them. And having a different mindset on death can just help in general. Plus, it's one of those things, like, it happens to everybody. Why is it so taboo? So let's just talk about it. Yeah? All right. Well, thank you so much. I'll see you next time.